You spray a spider, it dies, and 2 weeks later there are 3 more in the same corner. That's not bad luck, that's what happens when you treat the symptom instead of the cause. This method fixes the cause, and once you understand it, you'll never approach a spider problem the same way again. Before getting into the products and application, it helps to understand what's actually driving spiders into your home in the first place, because it's not random, and it's not a cleanliness issue. Spiders are predators. They don't enter structures looking for crumbs or warmth the way ants and cockroaches do. They follow their food supply. If your home has a consistent population of insects, flies, gnats, moths, silverfish, ants, anything, spiders will move in and stay because the hunting is good. Remove the food supply, and the environment becomes inhospitable to spiders even without directly targeting them. This is the core principle of the method we're covering today. You're not just killing the spiders you can see. You're treating the hidden areas where spiders and their insect prey actually live, eliminating the prey population that sustains them, and creating a long-lasting treated barrier that prevents new populations from establishing. It's a two-product system. One for the interior, one for the exterior, and the combination produces results that a can of spray from the hardware store fundamentally cannot replicate. The reason most consumer products fall short is residual duration. A typical contact spray kills what it hits on the day of application and has little to no remaining efficacy within days. The products used in this method maintain active control for months, 8 months in interior voids, up to 90 days on exterior surfaces. That difference in duration is what separates a treatment that holds from one that needs to be repeated every few weeks. The method uses 2 deltamethrin-based products from the same manufacturer, each formulated for a completely different part of the application. Delta-Dust is a 0.05% deltamethrin powder in a ready-to-use waterproof dust formulation. It's designed for crack and crevice and void applications. The hidden areas inside walls, behind appliances, under sinks, and throughout the structural gaps where spiders and insects actually spend most of their time. Because it's a dry dust that resists moisture, it remains effective in locations where a liquid spray would evaporate, wash away, or never penetrate in the first place. In undisturbed dry voids, it provides up to 8 months of residual contact kill. Suspend Polyzone is a 4.75% deltamethrin suspension concentrate mixed with water and applied as a liquid spray. It's the exterior product. Its distinguishing feature is a polymer technology called microfilm that forms a microscopic protective film around the active ingredient after drying. This film shields the deltamethrin from rain, UV light, irrigation, and physical abrasion, which is why it maintains efficacy for up to 90 days outdoors when many standard sprays break down significantly within weeks. Deltamethrin works on the insect nervous system by disrupting voltage-gated sodium channels, causing paralysis and death through contact. Unlike many consumer pyrethroid sprays, which have a strong repellent effect that drives pests away from treated areas without killing them, the combination of these formulations at the application rates used here produces reliable contact kill in treated zones. Both products are low in mammalian toxicity when used as directed and allowed to dry. They're not harmless. Follow label instructions, wear gloves and a dust mask when applying the powder, keep pets and children out of treated areas during application and until the dust has settled. But they're widely used in residential pest control for good reason. Deltamethrin does not affect mammalian sodium channels the way it does insect channels, which is the basis for its safety profile in residential applications. One product note: Delta-Dust should not be confused with diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is a physical desiccant that damages insect exoskeletons through abrasion. Delta-Dust is a chemical insecticide with a completely different mode of action and significantly longer residual effectiveness in void applications. The interior phase is where most of the long-term control comes from, and it covers more ground than most people expect. The tool for this phase is a bulb duster, a handheld rubber bulb attached to a narrow tube that allows precise placement of small amounts of dust directly into target areas. Fill the duster only halfway to 2/3 full. This leaves airspace inside that allows the dust to puff out in a controlled way when squeezed. If the duster is filled to the top, the dust compacts and either clogs or blasts out in a cloud rather than settling into the target void. Some people add a small coin inside to help keep the powder loose during use. The goal with every application is a thin, invisible film. not a pile, not a visible layer. The dust should float lightly into the void and settle on surfaces inside it. Insects and spiders pick it up on their legs and bodies as they move through, and it works through that contact. If you apply too much, pests detect the deposit and walk around it. Less is consistently more effective than more. Behind the electrical outlet and switch covers throughout the house. These are one of the most consistently overlooked locations in any spider or insect treatment, and they're high-value targets. The wall void behind every outlet is a connected network that insects travel through freely. Turn off the circuit if you're comfortable doing so, remove the cover plate, and apply 1 to 2 light puffs into the void with the duster tip. Replace the cover and move to the next one. Done properly across all outlets in a kitchen, bathroom, and utility area, this step alone provides months of sustained control in the wall void network. Under and behind the refrigerator, particularly around the compressor compartment at the back. The warmth from the motor creates a microenvironment that insects and spiders actively seek out. Pull the refrigerator out, apply a light treatment to the floor void and the area around the compressor, and push it back. Under the stove, in the toe kick area, and the drawer beneath the oven. Under the dishwasher, under and around the washing machine, behind the water heater, under the sink in the kitchen and bathrooms, including around the pipe penetrations where they pass through the cabinet base into the wall. These penetrations connect the interior of the cabinet directly to the wall void, and spiders regularly travel through them. Along baseboards where there are visible gaps, cracks, or separations from the floor or wall. Use the extension tube on the duster to direct the dust along the baseboard rather than into the open room. In the attic, if accessible, along joists, around plumbing vents, and in any harborage areas. In crawl spaces, along the beam and joist structure, around any pipe penetrations. These spaces are high-density harborage areas for both insects and spiders and are rarely treated by homeowners. In closets, particularly at the top, along ceiling edges, and around any lighting fixtures. In garage spaces, along all wall floor junctions, inside cabinet voids, around the perimeter of the attic access panel, and behind any stored equipment or shelving units. Once the interior has been dusted, the exterior treatment creates the barrier that prevents new populations from entering the structure. This phase uses suspend polyzone mixed in a pump or backpack sprayer. For a moderate spider pressure situation, mix 0.75 fluid ounces of concentrate per gallon of water. For a heavy infestation or when you want maximum residual, up to 90 days, use 1.5 fluid ounces per gallon. Shake the concentrate container well before measuring. Add roughly half the water to the sprayer tank first. Add the concentrate, then fill to the final volume and agitate thoroughly. Apply at low pressure under 50 psi as a coarse spray to avoid fine mist drift. The full perimeter foundation band. Spray a continuous band along the base of the structure, running approximately 2 to 3 feet up the foundation wall and 2 to 3 feet out onto the adjacent ground or landscaping. This is the primary entry zone for ground-traveling insects and spiders, all window frames and door frames, including the threshold at the base of each door. Spray into the gap between the frame and the exterior siding wherever accessible. Weep holes in brick exteriors. These small openings at the base of brick courses are drainage gaps that also serve as direct entry points into the wall cavity. Apply Delta Dust into weep holes for void coverage and treat the surrounding masonry with suspend polyzone. Eaves and soffits, including any gaps between the soffits and fascia. Spiders build webs in eaves specifically because flying insects, moths, mosquitoes, gnats, accumulate near structure-mounted lights at night. Treating the eaves eliminates both the web building site and the prey supply. Around all exterior electrical boxes, meters, and conduit entries. These are gaps in the structure that connect directly to interior voids. Around exterior hose bibs, cable and utility penetrations, and any other point where a utility line enters the structure. The chemical treatment handles the long-term biological control. Physical web removal handles the immediate visual problem and is an important maintenance step that should be done before every treatment and repeated on a regular schedule. Use a cobweb duster, a brush on an extendable pole, to knock down all webs from eaves, window frames, door frames, under gutters, and from exterior corners at ground level. In the interior, run it along ceiling wall junctions, in closet corners, and in any room where activity has been visible. Removing the web doesn't directly kill the spider, but it disrupts its habitat and forces it into the treated zones. It also removes egg sacs, which is meaningful. A single spider egg sac can contain 100 to 300 eggs depending on species, and disrupting those before they hatch reduces the next generation of the population significantly. Web removal should be repeated on a roughly quarterly basis or whenever new webs appear during the treated period. Professional services that include spider control typically incorporate web removal at every service visit for exactly this reason. The chemical treatment and web removal address the current population. These two steps are what prevent the next one. Reducing insect attractants is the most effective long-term spider prevention measure because it addresses the root reason spiders enter structures. Insects, and therefore the spiders that follow them, are heavily attracted to white light sources at night. Switching exterior lighting to yellow-tinted bulbs or warm LED fixtures that emit less UV doesn't eliminate insects entirely, but it significantly reduces the congregation at entry points like doors and windows, which is where most indoor introductions originate. Clutter reduction matters especially in garages and sheds. Dense, undisturbed clutter, stacked boxes, stored equipment, piles of material, provides exactly the kind of dark, protected, low-disturbance harborage that spiders prefer. Clearing, organizing, and elevating stored items off the ground reduces available habitat and also makes it easier to inspect and treat those areas effectively. Exclusion prevents insects and spiders from entering regardless of what's happening outside. Use silicone caulk to seal visible gaps along baseboards, around pipe penetrations under sinks, along the exterior perimeter where siding meets the foundation, around window and door frames, and anywhere else you can identify a gap wide enough to slide a piece of paper through. Install or replace door sweeps on any exterior door with a visible gap at the bottom. Repair any damaged window screens. In garage situations specifically, the gap at the bottom of a roll-up door when it's closed is a consistent high-traffic entry point for both insects and subsidizers. Replacing the bottom seal on the garage door removes this entry route. Most spiders commonly found in homes, house spiders, cellar spiders, cobweb spiders, jumping spiders, are nuisance pests rather than genuine health hazards. Their bites are either non-medically significant or mechanically possible, but practically very rare. The exceptions are species like the black widow and brown widow, which are present across much of the southern United States, and the brown recluse, which is established primarily in the south central and midwest United States. Black widow venom is a neurotoxin that causes significant systemic symptoms and requires medical attention. Brown recluse bites can cause necrotic tissue damage in some cases. These species don't require a fundamentally different treatment approach. The same method applies, but their presence is worth noting because identification matters before reaching into any void, corner, or harborage area during inspection or treatment. Black widows specifically favor the same low, sheltered, dark harborage areas that are primary treatment targets: the undersides of outdoor furniture, inside garage voids, under garden equipment, behind shutters, and in weep holes. Exercise caution in these areas and use a flashlight and inspection mirror rather than reaching in blind. If you identify a confirmed black widow or brown recluse infestation, particularly if children or pets are regularly in the affected area, professional treatment is the appropriate response. To summarize the complete method, use Delta Dust in a bulb duster to apply a light, precise treatment throughout interior voids. Wall void networks accessed through outlet covers, under and behind appliances, around pipe penetrations, in attic and crawl space structures, and along garage perimeters. Apply Suspend Polyzone as a perimeter spray around the full foundation, all entry points, eaves, and exterior electrical penetrations. Remove all existing webs with a pole duster before treatment and on a regular maintenance schedule. Reduce insect attractants through lighting choices and clutter management, and seal entry points to prevent re-establishment. The reason this approach works when spray cans don't is residual duration, application depth, and addressing the insect prey supply simultaneously. Each of those elements is something a surface spray cannot accomplish on its own. If you found this useful, subscribe for more practical, research-based pest control content. We'll see you in the next video.